Hello, good evening. Good evening, good evening. This is Smart Mado Ajaja, the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International, and also the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite. It's a beautiful evening here, rainy. We're expecting some severe weather from perhaps tonight here in Houston, Texas, and the weather has gone around the Caribbean. It hit Jamaica really hard. So our hearts goes to all those who lost properties and incurred damages and injuries in this whole crazy weather. Well, we hope that it spares us here. Well, the reason we are here is about Africa, Nigeria, and especially what is unfolding in Kenya, and we are so happy with the way the Kenyan revolution is going, and those youths, the Gen Z youths in Kenya, has done the whole of Africa proud. I am so proud of them as a Nigerian and as one who has been speaking up for them too. And I'm so impressed with the feedbacks that I have been receiving from Kenya, even if I am not biologically Kenyan. But right now, I'm mentally and spiritually Kenyan. And you know what? Something brings all of us together. Africa. I'm an African, and they are my brothers and sisters, the younger brothers and sisters. Some of them can be my children, who did their generation a huge, proud. They did their country proud. They did themselves proud. They stood up for what was right. They stood up against injustice. They stood up against an effort to trade their future into the oblivion. I'm so proud of. I can't be proud. Yes, there are reactions from Nigeria, where I come from. My Nigerian younger brothers, my Nigerian children, because I can be their father. They are angry that some Kenyans, young people, were talking about with pride that they are not like Nigerians. Yes, they are right. Why are you angry if you are a Nigerian youth? Why are you angry that the Kenyan youths are refusing to be equated, with you? Now, the onus is on you, the Nigerian young people, to prove yourself. Yes, our country is said to be the giant of Africa. The whole of Africa look up to Nigeria for leadership that it has failed woefully to provide. Leadership at the highest level, Nigeria failed to provide it. Leadership at the middle level, Nigeria has failed to provide it. Leadership at the youth level, Nigeria has failed to provide it. So why are you angry that you are a Nigerian? That some Kenyans are saying that they are not like Nigerians? Yes, they are not like you because they stood up for their country. They stood up for themselves. They could unite, bring themselves together. Christians, Muslims, animists, African traditionalists, they came together for a common purpose. They did not say, nobody told them, you are Northerners. What you are doing is un-Islamic. You can't go and be doing that with them. After those crazy leaders have taken money from the corrupt political class. See, Kenyans are some of the greatest Africans right now. I'm telling you, the Kenyan youths, what they did, put their politicians on the run. Some of the politicians now, lawmakers, went into the bush and were eating their lunch in the bush. You will have images to show it. What else can a people do? That is a generation, historic generation, that wanted to bring about change in their country. And they made it happen. President Ruto, who was gallivanting around the world, they humbled him. They broke his spine. They humbled his wife, who thought that she could just ride on Kenyans and do whatever she wanted. Yes, because she's first lady. That office is gone now. And they will be lucky if Ruto is spared at the end of the day. There are lawmakers who were buying properties, going to as far as Australia to own ranches. They were humbled. Thumb up for Kenyans. Thumb up for this rare, really historic generation of Kenyans. That gives hope to the future of Africa, that Africa at the end of the day will not be traded off. But we want you young Nigerians. You have made a lot of slogans that never got close to being achieved. You want me to I won't go too far. Yes, youth takeover movement. Immediately, Emmanuel Macron was elected president of France. He was 35 years at the time. You said 35-year-old can be the president of France? No, we in Nigeria we got to do something. The youth takeover movement started. By middle of 2018, we weren't hearing youth takeover anymore. All the youths now were lining behind their oppressors, their grandfather oppressors, their octogenarian oppressors. Yes, they call them ancestors. They line behind them to continue business as usual. They became their thugs. They became their enforcers. My younger ones were angling to be what? PA. What is PA? Personal assistant. You guys a slave. When people are creating 21st century jobs, good paying jobs. Yes, my younger ones in Nigeria, my children in Nigeria, they are angling to be PAs. They want to be SA, special assistant without an office. You can't, they don't even, there is no job description. That is the ambition of a typical Nigerian youth. And they are angry. Why are you angry? I love you. I'm one of the biggest advocates for the youths in Nigeria. But when we must speak the truth, we must speak it. Because your future is at stake. Your future is on the line. The future of your country is on the line. Who are the drivers of a country, if not the youths? You are mismanaging your youthfulness. You are abusing your exuberance in the wrong direction. You are not learning. You are not following the right people. You are not following direction. You are not following those who will take the country to its destiny. You are following drug dealers. You are following identity thieves. You are following the certificate forgers. You are following terrorists. You are following all kinds of people. And you expect that your country will be an Eldorado. That cannot happen. And that will not happen. And that is why what the moment right now, what these young people in Kenya created should inspire you. If you are one of those young people in Nigeria who think that your tribe can take you anywhere, learn something from the youth of Kenya. A few years ago, in 3 consecutive times, they had a bitter electoral violence in Kenya. How did they recover? Because they discovered that they found out who their real enemies are. They found out that it doesn't matter if you are a Kikuyu. It doesn't matter if you are a Luo. It doesn't matter if you are a Kalenjin. It doesn't matter if you are a Somali. But what matters now to them is that they are Kenyans, tied inextricably by one destiny. Yes, by one future, by one nation. Yes, they put that burnt past behind them and forged a new partnership of progress and patriotism. Look at the results. Resounding success. Where are you, Nigerians? In the north of Nigeria, the people who rule them, the feudalistic oligarchy that must be broken down now, they hold them down with Islam and tell them, because that is all that they can do to hold them away. Because they know that if they allow the young people from that part of the country, yes, I'm talking about the 10 northwest states in Nigeria, they are holding those children there, good children, nice children. They hold them in captivity. They hold them in abject poverty. They tie their mouth. They emasculate them. They mentally screw them up. They tell them all kinds of lies about young people, about people from other parts of the country, so that they can continue to hold them in captivity, so they cannot rise up against them. And I call on you now, you youths from the 10 northwest states in Nigeria, in bondage, break your bondage, and extend a hand of fellowship to your brothers and sisters across Nigeria. Forge a progressive united front against your common enemies. Yes. And I speak more on that north. Those 10 states of the north in Nigeria. 10 out of our country's political and military leaders. Yes, I'm talking about presidents and heads of state. 10 out of the country's 13 past leaders came from that part of Nigeria. What did they bring for you? All of them came with the mindset of the North. They call themselves Northerners, but we allowed them to lead Nigeria. They led Nigeria into the mud. They led Nigeria to death. You know what? They led Nigeria for their own personal benefit. They came in the name of the North, but they gave nothing, absolutely nothing, to the people of the North, especially the Hausas of the North. Yeah, they are the poorest people, but they have the commanding majority that is incapacitated. Yeah, now that brings us to the story of Israel and the rest of the world. Yes, Israel is less than about 10 million. 10 million, the sum total of the Israelis in Israel. 10 million people. You know what? Israel can wipe out Africa in a matter of days. Israel can wipe out Africa in a matter of days. You know why? It's not because of the Holy Ghost. It's not because of the Almighty God with which our people are held in captivity, or that the Israelis are the children of God. No, the Israelis built capacity. They built capacity. They built capacity. That capacity is what Ibrahim Traore today is building in Burkina Faso. They built capacity. They went into science and technology, turned a desert into an arable land. They went into military science. They produced some of the most dangerous military arsenals on earth. Now, who can intimidate them? Which African country is doing that? They built capacity. The Hausa people in the north, they prevented them from building capacity for themselves. They are a mass of this expansive empire of slaves who have no spine, who have no say, who are weak and extremely poor. Now, it is easier to conquer a people like that. A people who no longer have a mind of their own. They are hungry. Whatever is shoved down their mouths is what they eat. That is exactly what they are extending to the rest of Nigeria. They use that particular, very important population demography to set the whole of Nigeria back. They don't want them to be free. But I'm telling them today, you Hausa people, you people in the north, be free right now. Listen to this message. We love you. You are authentic Africans. This is why we have continued to make this message. Earlier in the day, I did a broadcast in Hausa with an Hausa person interpreting. So the Hausa poor person who does not think that he can escape poverty because somebody has told him that Allah has underwritten his poverty. He's poor because that's what Allah said. Who says who? Allah did not make anybody to be poor. God is not a poor God. God is a God of power. God is a God that gives you anything. The people are incapacitated, but their bondage is about to be over. Yes, their bondage is about to be over. And Nigeria will be liberated. And this is the reason why we are doing this. We go extra mile. Somebody sent me a message not too long ago on YouTube asking me that I don't have a job. What kind of a job can be as good as what I'm doing to set my people in my country free? You can say all you want to say. I'm not going to ask you anything. I don't ask politicians for money. I don't ask anybody for support. But this is the best job anybody can get. And I love the job that I'm doing it. My message is getting to them. They send me death threats every time. But I know that my message will be delivered before anything. And I will stay alive to see the effect, the positive outcomes that will come out of Nigeria. So you Nigerian young person, you are angry that Kenyans said what? They said the right thing. Because I'm telling you the same thing now. You have been lazy. Wake up. Wake up. You have been lazy. Nigerian young people, you have been lazy. You see, I'm saying it now. You allowed your oppressors to divide you. You allow your oppressors to repress you. You work for your oppressors. For what? They give you how much? Pittances to destroy your lives, to destroy your future, to destroy your country. Now, prove to the world that you are not indeed lazy. Muhammadu Buhari, the big terrorist, told you that you were lazy. You all roared for just a few seconds and it was over. Before dawn, you were already behind him, lining for him. He went and led Nigeria for 2 years, in addition to how many, for 8 years, in addition to what he did as a military head of state. Now, prove yourself. You take over. Not too young to rule. You cried about it. The National Assembly at the time passed it for you. Not too young to run. How many of you ran? How many of you ran? You could not even come together behind one or two of your peers to win an election. You tell them that they have no money. You always go for where the money is coming from. Money that was stolen from you. And then they give them some back to you. And then you praise the giver. Somebody stole something from you and gave some to you. And you are praising him. You are willing to die for him. Yes, this is where we are with that now. Yes. In that country, we did NSAS. 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 We thought NSAS was going to be it. The momentum was great. But again, some forces from some parts of the country did not allow it to happen. I am talking about it, that's the Northwest. They don't want the young people in Nigeria to unite together because they know that their end will come. And their end is truly inevitable. It is coming. The people now are beginning to ask questions. Answers came. Soldiers were deployed. Yeah, Nigerian useless soldiers who don't even know what they want. They don't know their rights. They don't understand the reason they exist. They don't understand their roles. They came fighting just like what the Ruto did with the Kenyan army. They released them and started shooting at innocent, young, and defenseless Nigerians. And that broke their back. But what happened in Kenya? How the soldiers were shooting, the youths kept on coming. The soldiers were overwhelmed. That is how to win battles. Nigerians, I think part of our problem is that before independence, we did not have the kind of struggles that other countries, had. Mosquitoes was what all it was that was needed. What mosquitoes drove the colonial masters away. I guess that is the reason why you think that you are entitled to your freedom, you're entitled to everything. When they tell you wake up and get something done, you think somebody has to pay you, somebody has to bribe you to be patriotic, somebody has to induce you one kind of way in order for you to rise up for yourselves. You know what? I am 62 years old. I'm still coming out to fight for you. I'm supposed to be pulling back and say, hey, my children, move forward, advance. But now, because there is a gap. That is why you see me. I've been doing this for a very long time. How long? When are you going to take over? That is what we are asking you now. When are you going to take over? Are you not ashamed? Are you not incensed? Are you not pissed off that your president, your rogue president, is a drug dealer? His vice president is a terrorism mastermind. Yes, your president is a drug dealer. He's a certificate forger. He's an identity thief known. Convicted here in the United States. He paid restitution of nearly $500,000. Yes, that is the one sitting his filthy ass on your highest seat of government, and you kept quiet. They rigged an election that was supposed to be straightforward. Everything was set. You and I and the Almighty God knows who won that election. He did not win. They brought the army. The army played into it. The judiciary played into it. All the elites, the corrupt traditional rulers in Nigeria, the high-profile ones, played into it to hijack your future. And you are still looking. You could not wake up. You could not react. You didn't do a damn thing to register your anger. Yes, because they know that you can't do anything. That is why they keep on doing worse. Look at what is taking place in your National Assembly. Here, look at what is taking place in your National Assembly. Look at your Senate president and his gang of thieves, what they are doing. Look at what he went to do in his whole state of Akwa Ibom. He celebrated his 60th birthday with over 300,000 poor people in the same stadium, and they could not gather him and take him out of that place. Yes, they were more interested in eating a few grains of rice. Yes, the stadium was filled to capacity for a criminal that they were supposed to jump on. Yeah, he came back and kept on. He told you, the most recent, that the life of a drug dealer sitting illegally and illegitimately on your presidency is more important than your life, than the lives of 250 million Nigerians. I will be ashamed, like I am pissed off. Yes, but you are there on that floor. Again, they know, they have gauged your that you couldn't do anything because you are spineless. Yes, because you have allowed them to incapacitate you, because you eat from them little pittance here and there. Now, when you are corrupt, corruption has gotten to the grassroots in Nigeria. The youths are involved in the corrupt practices that brought Nigeria on its belly. Because you collect pittances from them, you can't open your mouth. Can they do that to me? No. Am I not talking now? No, but you can't talk. Yes. You are only interested. Nigerian youth today, not today for me or not. Yeah, get angry. Get angry. That is what we want you to do. You follow Davido. If Davido has a show right now, the show will be sold out. The same you who called me last night that you didn't have money to eat, you'll find a way to go to that stadium to pay, give Davido his money. Davido, Flavor, Burma Boy, Basket Mouth, and all of them, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about Nigeria. Otherwise, they are supposed to be the ones mobilizing you for action to change Nigeria around. But they exploit you. You dance. The girls are buying Brazilian hair. You want to look so nice. You are jobless, but you put on hairs that are worth over 500,000. Where are you getting the money from? It is time. Somebody needs to tell you. And I've chosen to do that. I am not afraid. If I ask you anything, don't give me. If I ask for you to vote for me tomorrow because of what I'm telling you, this truth that is being registered before God and man and before the whole world, don't vote for me. It is better I don't get your vote than tell you what you want to hear and get your vote and then you'll be around me. No. We are at a moment of truth. Nigerian youths, you have failed like the Nigerian leaders, but you are young. You can redeem yourself. This is the reason why must look in the direction of Kenya. Look in the direction of Kenya. If you don't know any of them, call me. I will give you some numbers to call so that they can teach you what they did non-violently to put a pariah on his toes, to break the spine of an arrogant William Ruto and his wife, to break the spine of a corrupt parliament, just the same way that they are corrupt in Nigeria. Watch something. Let me show you something right quick. So watch this young Kenyan. Watch this young Kenyan. Right? Watch this young Kenyan. One of them who was arrested. Yet they arrested him. Watch what he's going to say in the court. He said he's willing to die. Which Nigerian youth is willing to die? I put my life on the line for Nigeria. Which Nigerian youth is willing to die for Nigeria? I was talking to a couple of young people in Nigeria. They told me that Nigeria is not worth dying for because Nigeria has not done anything for them. You see, Nigeria has not, they expect Nigeria to die for them. They don't understand the difference between a state and a government. The state is the mother, like your mother. Your mother is there. The state has provided fertile ground for you. Nigeria has provided everything. Yeah, the backbone for success for you. Nigeria has arable land. Nigeria has everything. But we have had bad government. The state cannot change its government. It is the people that can change the government. So Nigerians don't know the difference between a state and government. The other day, I had took my time to teach the difference between a state and the government. Government comes and goes. Government is supposed to hold the state's resources in trust for the people and manage them judiciously for the good of everyone. But governments in Nigeria has always been bad managers, and they put money into their pocket, forget about the people, drain the economy, and run down the infrastructure. But sadly, the people who are supposed to have the power to remove government, they don't know that they have those rights. Today, again, I'm reinforcing what I taught you about knowing your rights. You have the right, you have the power to take down any government that is not serving your interest. And this is why we must always rise above tribal and religious nationalism. Yes, when it comes, because it is your life that is at stake. It is your future that is involved. Even if that person who is robbing you of your future is your mother's son, your mother's daughter, you have to shove him down, shove him away, and guarantee, fight, and defend your future. This is what Nigerians don't know. This is what they have never known. When they are in government, when people are in government, they are scared of government. The government is supposed to be scared of the people and not the other way. But in Nigeria, governments are what? Monsters that the people who put them in there fear. That has to change. And the moment to change it is now. Watch what the Kenyans did. But for the benefit of this encounter, let me show you what a Kenyan young man who was arrested, one of those who was arrested, what he said in court. I cried, but I am happy that we have young men like that from Africa. You know, it reminds
me likely to cause a breach of peace by yelling, shouting, and attempt to disrupt the photo shooting session by the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, and Economic Planning and his delegates. Is it true or not true? Julius, is it true or not true?
Okay, I don't want to betray my concerns. Your Honor.
Can you respond as to what you're doing? Is it true or not true? You'll be given time.
It's true. And as I said, I don't want to betray my concerns. I'm ready to do anything to see change in this country. I'm ready to die for freedom. I'm ready to die for justice. I'm ready to die for equality. We cannot continue living as slaves in our own country. In the land of our fathers, the land where our fathers bled and died to free this nation from the shackles of colonialism. Colonialism never really ended in this country. Even in this court, they use colonial penal codes, colonial laws. That is why I cannot get justice in a court of law. I want to speak myself. I realize that there comes an existential moment in time when you must speak for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. I am tired, so sick and tired of living as a slave in my own country. And I'll say this a lot of times, many times, and I'm going to do so many things, so many actions to bring change into this country. We cannot continue to be ruled like this, being ruled by sick people, by mad people, by liars and thieves and criminals. These are the people who are in power in Kenya, in Africa. That is the dying and nobody cares. Poor people are suffering, nobody cares. So I don't know what's the role of the government. I don't know. I want to know today, what's the role of the government? To protect the people or to kill the people or to make the people suffer? I think we have failed our people. The government has failed. Everybody has failed. We have also failed ourselves. I don't know. My concerns will not allow me to decide. And at any time, at any moment, I don't know whether this is going to come up anywhere, but we must have this debate. We must have this conversation. We cannot continue living in fear. I see a lot of fear in this country. A lot of fear in the courts. Just yesterday, we saw a magistrate who was shot by a police officer. I want to speak, my dear friends. I want to speak because when you try to tell me to keep silent, my heart is burning. You know, it's burning because of this country. Because for 60 years, we have been living like we are not human beings, like we are half human beings. We are considered like children of a lesser God. Now, this cannot continue. It cannot continue in any way. We are ruled by a minority that does not care for the interests of the majority. Politicians are liars and thieves. And they have stolen our freedom, they have stolen our minds, they have stolen our land, they have stolen our future. Politicians are established in lies and failed promises. We are victims of lies and failed promises, deferred hopes, and blasted dreams for 60 years.
So just tell you.
I don't know what will happen. I don't know whether you're going to sentence me. I'm ready to be sentenced for 100 years, but I'm going to keep speaking the truth until the day I leave this world. We cannot continue living like this. My dear friends, we must resist. Resistance is the only way for this country, for Africa. People are dying everywhere. Even in Congo, people are suffering, and we are silent. I don't know. We have failed as human beings. We have completely failed as human beings. We are on a test as human beings. I don't know why we call ourselves Christians. I don't know why we call ourselves educated people, civilized people. We are not. We are not civilized at all. We are stupid. And this stupidity is taking a toll on this country. Too much toll. It's so bad. It's too bad. It's too bad. We cannot continue living like this. The government must get out of the people. But on his behalf, your eyes.
Yes, you heard him. You heard that young man. You heard him. He's ready to die for change in his country. How many young people in Nigeria are willing to do that? Their peers, they killed a lot of their peers on October 20th, 2020. I thought that was what was going to spur. If the oppressors were already running, they were scared. Buhari was about to leave the country. Bola Tinubu escaped, already ran away to France. What was left, just about when the job was about to be done, Nigerian youth pulled back and allowed their peers. We don't even know how many they are. Just last year, they were buried in shallow mass grave by the Lagos state government. We don't know, and nobody is being held accountable for that. We can't continue like this. We can't continue that country like that. Something has to give in Nigeria. The Kenyans have proved, the Kenyan youths have proved that they are indeed more politically conscious than their Nigerian peers. So what gives that Nigerian youth the right to challenge a Kenyan who does not want to be equated with a Nigerian youth? They are right. Prove the word wrong, and we will all celebrate you. Prove the word wrong. Change is never given free. I saw honesty in the faces of young Kenyans. I saw people, one who made a video before he went out to protest. He handed over his life to God. He handed over his life that he was struggling for his unborn children. He recorded it, over 5 minutes recording that went viral. Yes, before he left, he said he had only 50 shillings in his pocket. But a Nigerian youth, when they said there's going to be protest, he wants you to pay him. He wants you to put him in a bus. He wants you to be feeding him while they are protesting. Like what happened in NSAS. Young people were killing cows. It was a carnival. They were drinking. They were eating. Which means you are not angry. If you could buy food, if you could kill a cow and roasted it on the streets of Lagos, on the Ibadan Expressway, what were you protesting? That is why I am not a huge fan of street protests yet in Nigeria. The people don't understand what they want. We have to be well mentally equipped. We have to teach them what. You don't have to be paid. The Egyptians were not paid to remove Hosni Mubarak, and the next one almost immediately. Yeah, they removed 3 presidents in a row in Egypt. Some people rode bicycle from Alexandria. Some people trekked to Cairo to be part of that history. Nigerians will not do that. They will want to be pampered. They want to be purchased. They want to be given food. They want to be paid. They want to be transported to and fro where they want to do protest. You don't have to do that. You don't even have to start if you don't mean what you are talking about. That has been the problem of the Nigerian youths. That is why politicians take them for granted. That's why the traditional rulers take them for granted. That is why the police can do anything they like to them and get away with it. That's why the soldiers will come and shoot, spray them and get away with it. That is why everybody find them so vulnerable to use. Now I am telling you, I'm calling you if I stand for election tomorrow, but I know that if I have to stand, I'm standing for the good of you and the good of the country, because I'm not interested in trying to go make money like Akpabio and his gang of criminals and Bola Ahmed Tinubu are doing right now. I will go and do the job the way it's supposed to be done and get away, and for the next generation to take over. But you have to make your own contributions. Why do Nigerian youth think that somebody owes him something? Yeah, why do you think that I have to? Because you think I'm speaking. I don't have all the money. You want to equate me or some of us like with politicians who steal your money and have access to give to you pretenses to silence you, to make you do what you are not supposed to do, including making you going to kill those of us who are standing against them for running their country down. You don't understand the country is your own country. You are the most owners because you are younger. How many more years do I have to live? I'm 62. I'll be very happy to get another 40. Really very, very happy. I enjoy very good health. I eat right. But you are young. You are 20, you are 30, you are 45, and you don't want to do anything to safeguard your future from being destroyed. You want me to pay you because a politician pays you money. You want me to drive you because some politicians will put you in a bus. You want me to feed you because that is the rule of the game of the jungle in Nigeria. We can't do that. You have to put your own sweat equity to get the job of liberating Nigeria done. And that is where your problem is. And that is what you must work on. Nigerian young people don't understand the principle of sacrifice. They don't want to sacrifice for anything. They want to be everything on a platter of gold. Nigeria is dying. You see it yourself. Your country is surrounded by terrorists. Every corner of Nigeria has been surrounded. That doesn't bother you. Are you not concerned about that? That a day will come when an alarm will be set off that Nigeria has been taken over. Yes, Boko Haram, Fulani jihadists are in all forests across Nigeria. In my own hometown, they have kidnapped over 42. They have killed over 6 persons. Yes, including throwing a newborn baby to their dogs to eat. Yes, the baby died and his mom died. Yes, that is how bad. If I were Nigerian youth right now, I'll be most concerned. I'll be organizing. Your schools are not schools anymore. How many semesters do you go to school in a year? What is the quality of the education, teaching and learning that is taking place on your campuses? You go there to become thugs and bandits. That's nothing. All right. The girls are being abused by professors or lecturers in the university because they don't pay them right. It's either you pay with sex or you are a man, you pay with money. How? You see how everything is running down. You can't hold down a real typical Nigerian youth for you and him to have an intellectual discussion. It's so rare, it's so difficult because they are empty and hollow, not because of by their own design, because of a tragic system failure that should make some people angry. We are not angry enough. Yes. Now, a Nigerian youth will prefer to travel by foot across the Sahara Desert to Libya, where he will go through series of abuses and slavery. And then he goes into a balloon boat across the wild and violent Mediterranean into concentration camps in Europe, if they are able to make it alive. Thousands of young Africans have died, have become food for sharks in the Mediterranean. If those energy you dissipate traveling for hundreds of miles, if not even thousands, into Libya, could be channeled into standing against those who are holding you and your country hostage. Only God knows how many millions of Nigerian youths are outside Nigeria doing nothing I'm telling you, doing nothing in Europe, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in India. It's so sad. So when you create this vacuum, somebody else has to occupy it. That is why you have bandits all over our forests. You created a vacuum. Our young people were forced out on economic exile. And here we are in Nigeria. Those who are remaining, I tell you, the best thing to do now is to go east, west, north, and south. Stop hating one another, because that's what your oppressors thrive on. They create this atmosphere of hate. You hate Igbos, you hate the Yorubas, you hate the Hausas. You can't come together. That's all they want. They play you together. Their problem, you become enemy of their own enemies that you never knew where they were created. You are a new generation. Do what the Kenyans did. And they told their parents, stay away from this, because you created this problem for us. Leave us alone to solve it. And their parents obeyed. When are we going to get that type of generation of young Nigerians who will tell the old generation, the old guard, stay away from this and let's take charge of our country and build a new Nigeria? I live in the United States. I have seen young people here. I don't see the kind of hate that there is. It's not like there are no problems here. But when it comes to nationalism, you see the spirit. We don't have it in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a nation. Nigeria has not been, is not near the pathway to nationhood at all. But we can make that happen when we decide to examine ourselves and see where we have been wrong for generations, and then decide really seriously before it is too late. Because what is taking place is now Nigeria is at that point where it can be recolonized. And then when Nigeria is recolonized, the whole of Africa will go down because of the size and the strategic location of Nigeria. You don't know, because you're not studying geography, you're not studying geopolitics, you are not studying how much mineral resources there is in Africa. 45% of the Earth's mineral resources are located in your continent. Gold, silver, rubies, diamond, oil, lithium, cobalt, you name it. 45% of them are in your continent. Why are you not asking questions? Why Africa is the poorest, has the poorest people, regardless of its quantum amount of wealth in it? Why is it that Africa does not have enough industries to employ its steaming youths? The population of Africa as it stands right now is nearly 1.5 billion people. And of this 1.5 billion people, over 70% are young people. So that is genocide waiting to happen. Yes, that is hell. And then you see people come from China to come and exploit what is in your backyard. And you are running away to where there is nothing. You are running to Italy. You are running to Indonesia. You are running to Malaysia. Instead of holding your government accountable, instead of stopping the act of collecting money to vote for criminals into power. It's time. Now do you get this drift? Why are you seeing so many Chinese? Why are you seeing so many Indians in Africa? Everywhere in Africa. We are not talking about the Europeans. They put us through slavery. We are not talking about the Arabs. They put us through slavery for 700 years. 700 years of Arab slavery. 400 years of European slavery, many years, another over 300 years of colonialism, right? Another now imperialism, yes, going on alongside apartheid, and now globalization. Globalization gives them ownership of Africa. You see how difficult, how resistant France was about leaving Niger? They were resistant. They were trying to attack. They wanted to use Nigeria to attack Niger. If not for us, who put hell on that drug dealer, he would do it. He was willing to do it because he had collected money. They gave him money. They gave Akufo-Addo of Ghana money. They gave Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast money. They gave all of them money. Yes, terrorists were tearing West Africa down. The ECOWAS could not contribute 10 soldiers to support Burkina Faso, to support Mali, to support Niger. Yes, they say they have ECOWAS. ECOWAS is an extension of European Union. Yes, that is why we must disband all of them and build a new regional body that will take care of African issues. And that's the reason why we must destroy the African Union. African Union that cannot build their own secretariat. It took China. China will come and build secretariat for African Union. And can you imagine that? And then when they have military operations in Africa, European Union has to fund them. How can you have that in a continent of a serious people? They turned us into beggars. Even with what they steal from us, we feed their economies. We grow their economies. We are the reason their children exist. We are the reason they have all the big schools. We are the reason they have all the big industries. We are the reason they have all their super highways. But our continent is a jungle. Now is the time, you Africans, you Nigerian youth, if you don't wake up, it will be a shame on you. The next generation will spit on you. Get angry. That's what we are saying. We don't care how angry you get. Get angry. Stop your hate. Stop your tribalism. Stop your religious nationalism. It's not going to take you anywhere. Build a new partnership with the rest of your peers from Nigeria to take your Nigeria back. Take Africa back. Join the rest of Africa in order for us to realize the dream of our founding fathers of the emergence of the United States of Africa with one army, one economy, one reserve bank, and without borders, where goods and services will flow freely, where we don't have to rely on France to do anything for us because they are not doing anything. They steal from us. We don't have to rely on Europe to come and do we can only decide to sell them things if we choose to. Africa is large enough. We are the biggest bloc in the United Nations. Do you know, have you ever bothered to ask why Africa does not have a permanent national Security Council seat on the United Nations? Five countries, all right? 5 countries, 3 Europeans or Eurocentric countries, all right, can veto the whole of the world, right? Yes. Then why do we exist? We exist. They look at us like animals in the zoo, but we have what make them survive. So we need to unite, which is what they don't want. They don't want us to unite. They know that if we unite and form one organic African country, they cannot push us around. They will not be able to match us militarily. They won't be able to match us economically. They won't be able to match us in any way. That is why they plant puppets across Africa as leaders. You and I lying behind these crazy puppets. We think they are leaders. Why does a Nigerian presidential candidate go to Chatham House in the UK to make a case for his presidency in Nigeria? Why does a little boy, Macron, invite African leaders and they are running and they put them in a bus like sardine, like children? The same people who come and ride the biggest cars in Africa, they go to Europe and a little boy will put them like sand in a small vehicle. It's so sad. African presidency, the African people need to reclaim their dignity. We are not an inferior people, but we have very terrible inferior leaders. That is why. And that is why we must do something now to end the nonsense from our leadership. It's all our fault. We must admit we are involved in choosing them, but we can stop them just the same way we have been supporting them. We can say enough is enough. Now is that historic moment. I don't know that there will be another time if we cannot do this now. And this thing that is taking place, this revolution, African revolution, must go around the whole of Africa. Africa for Africans, African resources for Africans, to be managed by Africans. And if we have to sell, we have to take it and do it in a manner that we will be respected. No person from somewhere else can come and tell us how much we sell, what we do. We need to build industries in Africa. We need to industrialize. We need to empower our people, just like the Israelis empower their people. That is why nobody can mess with them. Yes, it's not God. Don't leave God out of it. They saw the environment in which they found themselves. The only thing left for them was to either die or be strong. And they chose strength, and that is the capacity. But in Africa, our leaders don't build capacity. They erode our capacity. They take from us. They strip us. They destroy everything. Do you see the roads in Nigeria? No electricity in Nigeria as we speak. There are no roads in Nigeria. There are no hospitals that you can say you can't. I can't take my dog to a typical Nigerian general hospital. Yes, that is how bad it is. And when they are sick, these criminals, when they are sick, they are running down to the United States. They are going to Dubai. They are going to where? They are going to China. They started going to China now. They go to Europe to seek treatment. But they run their own institutions down. It's our fault. Nigerian youths, I come back to you. Do something now. Do something now. Stop crying. Let what the Kenyan youth told you, let it be an inspiration for you to take your country back. Good night. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm so happy, and I wish you a great week ahead of you. If you have not tuned in, you have not, subscribed to our channel, please use this opportunity to do so. What we are trying to build is a global movement. Yes, we talk about Africa. Last week, I did talk about America a lot. So if you have anything from your countries on your continents that is of importance that we need to talk about, that impacts the whole world, impacts ordinary common people, bring it forward. We will research into them and give our thoughts to it. Good night and have a good one.